Now, friends, we are actually at the most enjoyable part of the event. Using a render engine and visualizing the model you have created in the render engine is really enjoyable. Friends, I would like to say that it is even more enjoyable than games. As you use it, you will understand better what I mean, friends. So, what do we need to do here? First, we need to learn our movement in the scene. Now you have opened D5. Look, friends, I am clicking with the mouse. It's not moving. I right-click, and it orbits on the right. At the first opening, friends,
Hey
we need
there.
to change the orbit part on the right
Subscribe to my
side to the fly
channel.
part, which is the
And
flight
also
mode.
press this bell
Since it's
icon.
currently in orbit mode, you can only move with the right side of the mouse. So the left doesn't move. WASD is non-functional, meaning the movement part with the WASD keys is inactive. That's why I switched to fly mode from here. In fly mode, the speed of my camera, 5 centimeters. Currently, I am at a height of 1 meter. Look, 1 meter, 1.9. You can adjust the human setting. So, from here, 1 point. You say 1.70, this is the human height, friends. Normal, let it stay at 120, for example. Let it stay for a person of 120 height. Of course, since the perspective and camera angles can be misleading, even a 1 meter angle will be ideal for us right now. I adjusted this. I took the fly part. Look, now I can move forward with the mouse. And with the right button, as of the mouse, I can look left and right. Or I can move forward with the S keys, friends. Everything is fine up to this point. What makes D5 great is this, friends. While you are working with menus, scenes, and models, on the left side, you are performing visualization. On the right side, with the models in the scene. This is how it's done. So, look at the visualization effect on the right side. Here, the Geo and Sky section, with the Sky and HDR part. And here are the details where I make these settings. Think of it that way. In the Effect section, it's where we control our contrast, where we prevent light flares, and where the white balance shifts the image slightly more towards blue, white, and yellow, or towards orange. These parts are here as well, and we will see all of these parts. We will also see what they are used for, friends. I am showing it section by section. In the middle section, there are the lights and other materials. From here, the left section, friends, the right section, it creates our terrain and outdoor environment. This section, the light section, is what I will use in my scene. There are point lights, spotlights, long thin lights, and rectangle lights, which I call supporting lights. Here as well. For the interior, just knowing these is enough. The sections here are the ones you will use for the exterior, friends. Since we are currently in the interior lesson, we will use these in the simplest form. In the camera section, I have my camera settings. Currently, it's 18mm. You might ask what the normal setting is. It's 35, friends. For example, when I type 35 and press enter, when I normally render, it's open at 35 degrees as seen by a normal eye. This, friends, I need to take it like this. When you press F8, it becomes vertical. When you press P, it switches to the perspective button. With the letters top, SU, front, left, and P, look, from here I switch back to the top, bottom, back, left, and perspective sections. When I switch, it pauses a bit, and the light automatically adjusts itself again. Just like in the Inkscape render engine, in D5, after a certain delay, it calculates based on the direction of the light coming to the camera. Friends, this is the main logic. Now, on the left side, there is the scene section. Look, let's say I like this scene normally. Let's say I will render from such a scene, friends. Look at the plus section. Here, when I press the plus section, at the top, I create a scene. However, since I didn't make the settings, I ended up recording in a reset scene. Look, this is a reset scene. This is scene 2 in SketchUp. This is scene 1, the first scene we took in SketchUp. You remember the modeling lesson. 2 and 3. As you can see, I can create scenes in various ways, but there's a subtle detail here. When creating the scene, friends, after making all your settings, that is, after setting your quality settings, then start creating the scene. You can still change the settings. You can also say update. For example, I switched to the HDR section from the settings here. I said update from this section here, and it preserved this setting. While there was a sun setting here, it switched to the HDR setting here. Think of it that way. Now, the whole thing here is exactly like this, friends. Look here, in the asset section, we have our models. When you click on the asset section, look, the model section appeared. This asset section here. Look, there is a material and model section here. These are the parts we will use. Particle, scatter, Ada. HDR has its own HDRs. There are also free HDRs provided here. Those labeled Pro are the professional version, but you don't necessarily have to use these. I mentioned it at the beginning of the lesson. I will already provide it to you. You will be able to download and use it from the free HDR site. Friends, therefore, whether this is paid or not doesn't concern us much. This is our texture section. I will also show free sites in the texture section. You will be able to download textures from free sites.
Hey there.
In the model section, you can also download models from the free sites
and also press this bell icon.
But there is a clear quality difference between the models downloaded externally and those in D5. D5's own professional library. Truly distinct, expensive. Let's not say expensive. Clearly, high quality, friends. Look, it says if you want to open all the assets. When you click here, friends, the D5 Pro version is $30, as you can see. You can see the models added every month. A quality and quite functional process. If there are those who do constant work, commercial work, they can purchase it for $30 and continue. For students, it's not necessary at all, friends.